The Danish royal couple's mysterious cruise, the hidden secrets behind their trip to North Jutland, Danish royal traditions, the impact of this trip on the European monarchy, and exclusive revelations about their final destination. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to never miss any royal news. Share this video with your loved ones who are passionate about European monarchies, and tell us in the comments what you think of this surprising royal getaway. A majestic silhouette cuts through the crystal-clear waters of the North Sea as the first rays of the morning sun caress the gleaming hull of the Danish royal yacht. On board, two figures now familiar to all of Europe are enjoying a rare moment of intimacy away from the strict protocols of the court. King Frederik X, crowned just a few months ago, and his wife, Queen Mary, have made a decision that surprises even the most seasoned observers of the Danish monarchy, to embark on a summer cruise to the most remote lands of the kingdom. This maritime escapade is no mere pleasure trip. Behind this cruise lies a centuries-old tradition few are aware of, a royal pilgrimage to the northern tip of Jutland that dates back to the very origins of the Danish crown. Skagen, this windswept port city where the North Sea and the Baltic meet, represents much more than a tourist destination for the royal family. It was here, on these wild shores, that the ancestors of Frederik X came to draw their strength and renew their connection with Danish land. The royal yacht, named Dannebrog in honor of the national flag, has been sailing for 3 days in perfect weather conditions. The crews say they have never seen their sovereigns so relaxed, so close to their deepest roots. Mary, the former Australian lawyer who became one of Europe's most beloved queens, seems to have found a serenity in these Nordic waters that she never displays during official ceremonies. Frederik, meanwhile, has been taking frequent morning dives into the icy waters, continuing a family tradition passed down to him from a young age by his father, the former King Margrethe II. But this cruise conceals much deeper issues than this apparent summer tranquility suggests. Diplomatic sources speak of growing tensions within the European monarchy, of pressure from certain Danish political factions questioning the relevance of royalty in a modern society. This trip to Jutland would in reality be a way for the new king to reconnect with the very essence of his people, to show that the Danish crown remains inseparable from the territory and its inhabitants. The planned stops along the west coast reveal a carefully orchestrated strategy. Each port chosen tells a unique Danish story, and each encounter with the local population is a vital link in building the legitimacy of the new reign. In Theborn, the fishermen welcomed their sovereigns with palpable emotion, some even shedding a few tears as they watched their king share breakfast in the simplicity of a harbor inn. The royal couple's itinerary also reveals their desire to rediscover an authentic Denmark, far from the splendor of Copenhagen. They chose to sail along the wildest coasts, stopping in fishing villages where time seemed to have stood still for decades. Mary, armed with her personal camera, immortalized every moment, every face they encountered, in what felt more like an intimate travel diary than an official mission. Witnesses to these spontaneous encounters describe a king who was particularly attentive, asking specific questions about the economic challenges facing these coastal communities. Frederik X seemed to want to understand from the inside the changes his country was undergoing, as well as the concerns of his subjects in the face of globalization and climate change, which directly threatened their traditional way of life. The final destination of this cruise, the Point of Grennen, where two seas meet, takes on a particularly symbolic dimension. This is where Danish kings traditionally come to meditate on their reign and contemplate the vast sea surrounding their island kingdom. Historians claim that this tradition dates back to King Christian IV in the 17th century, who is said to have had a prophetic vision about Denmark's future during a particularly violent storm in these parts. The crew of the Dannebrog reported nighttime conversations between the royal couple, passionate discussions about the future of the Danish monarchy in a constantly changing world. Mary reportedly confided to her ladies-in-waiting her desire to modernize certain aspects of royal protocol, while Frederik was reportedly considering novel initiatives to bring the crown closer to the Danish people. This cruise comes at a crucial time for the Danish monarchy. While several European countries are questioning the usefulness of their royal institutions, Denmark seems to be taking the opposite path. Frederik X and Mary embody a new generation of sovereigns, closer to contemporary concerns, yet keen to preserve the ancestral heritage that makes their nation so rich. The exclusive images of this cruise, sparingly released by the Royal Communications Services, show a close and determined couple. They are seen sharing moments of complicity with the crew, participating in nautical maneuvers, and learning traditional fishing techniques with local sailors. These snapshots deliberately contrast with the sometimes rigid image conveyed by official ceremonies. The timing of this cruise is not insignificant. The Danish summer, with its long days bathed in golden light, provides an ideal setting for this reconnection with the land. But some political analysts also see it as a clever way to occupy the media space during a traditionally quiet period, to gradually shape the image of the new reign away from the political turbulence of the capital. The repercussions of this maritime escapade extend far beyond Denmark's borders. Other European monarchies are closely observing this innovative approach to royal communication. Some diplomatic sources already mention similar projects in other European courts, inspired by the Danish example. The Danish population is passionately following this maritime adventure of its sovereigns. Social media is buzzing with enthusiastic comments and photos taken by lucky witnesses who have encountered the royal yacht during its port calls. This renewed closeness seems to delight a people renowned for their pragmatism and their distrust of ostentatious displays. The upcoming arrival in Skagen, the culmination of this maritime odyssey, is the focus of all attention. The inhabitants of this northern city have been preparing for weeks a welcome worthy of their sovereigns, blending ancestral traditions with contemporary innovations. The local authorities have organized a series of cultural events that will allow the royal couple to discover the artistic richness of this region, often overlooked by the general public. This cruise to the far reaches of Jutland ultimately reveals a subtle and modern royal strategy, to demonstrate that the Danish monarchy is not a relic of the past, but a living institution, capable of adapting to the challenges of the 21st century while preserving its deep roots. Frederik X and Mary seem to have perfectly understood that the future of their crown depends on their ability to remain connected with their people, to share their joys and their worries. As the Danbrog approaches its final destination, a burning question crosses the minds of all observers of this maritime saga. Will this revolutionary cruise mark the beginning of a new era for European monarchies, or are we simply witnessing a particularly successful publicity stunt that masks more complex realities?